2.5 weeks of victories and defeats. We began with 64 teams, and one month they went into that other column, and man-to-man, we felt a little sorry for them. But this is not about sorrow, it is about chance, and to a champions, and to a man in their own little way, win or lose, we agree with Temple's John Chaney that they are all champions.
This was the last chance, I thought, for some of these guys to be in an organization where men pitch in for one common cause. And they have to go on and fight battles all by themselves. It was a great opportunity, and college affords you that chance. It's the last ditch. And they may not recognize it right away, but maybe in another 15 or 20 years, they'll recognize there was something special to spend 4 years in college with other guys sharing a common goal that's built out of the same fabric of athletics.
Something special. That's what these moments are. Something special to someday tell your kids, and you bet that's going to happen. And a generation from now, they'll be saying, my dad played in the NCAA tournament. And some kid from Kansas, or whose father went to Duke, will get to say, my daddy, back in 1991, he was the national champion. One more night. And you Kansas fans, now we know not many of you are saying we told you so, but there you are playing ball on April 1st. And Duke, welcome back. You're kind of familiar this time of year, and now that you have that other thing off your back, good luck to you tonight as well. Make no mistake about it, this is it, kids. There's one more game to be played, literally the end of the long and winding road. Horns down there. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. He's Mike Francesa. Hi, Mike. We'd like to welcome you all to CBS Sports' continuing coverage of the NCAA tournament. And by the way, congratulations for being able to catch your breath after Final Four Saturday. Those were some unbelievable games.
Great games.
Our final two are Kansas, and you know, like Dorothy and company leaving Oz, they got in here with brains, heart, and courage. Duke, only one of the biggest upsets in the history of the game, and so the ball will go up at 9-10, and Mike, how do you make these two out?
You know, Pat, Kansas has been very impressive, but this game is all about Duke. Can the Blue Devils and Mike Krzyzewski get over that bridesmaid tag? They've been the college basketball version of the bridesmaids for a long, long time. And can they refocus after an exhausting, after a physical, after an emotional upset of UNLV? That's the key.
I know you're struggling on your pick. We're going to hear it a little later in the broadcast, but right now we've got our team of reporters working for you all again tonight. And let's begin with Leslie Visser, who brings us the news from the Jayhawk side. Leslie?
Thanks, Pat. Kansas is, of course, the mystery guest at this tournament, but at least one person has been on their bandwagon all along. About 5 weeks ago, I ran into Giants coach Bill Parcells, and he said, I have a tip for the tournament, Kansas. Well, of course, he had a little added incentive. In college, he roomed with Mike Maddox's father at Wichita State. Well, Maddox and the rest of the Jayhawks arrived here about an hour ago. They looked confident, focused, and relaxed. Roy Williams said he got about 5 hours of sleep, and he feels pretty good about his first title game.
Well, I think it's one team's got to get over the little nervous anxiety to start the game with. But I think it's going to be a 40-minute game that you have to play well. You have to play well in every phase of the game, and Duke does a great job of that. And they've been here before. They're on a mission, but, you know, hopefully our guys will be too.
Roy Williams has used a little bit of history to inspire his team. He's been talking to them about NC State in '83, about Villanova in '85, and even Kansas in '88. And on the blackboard, he wrote the number of teams remaining in the tournament. It stands at 2. For the story on Duke, let's go over to James Brown. JB?
All right, Leslie, thank you very much. You know, the toughest thing the past 48 hours for Duke has been to adjust its emotional switches, to go from the extreme high Saturday night in that victory over UNLV to refocusing and recharging on the task at hand, and that's to win a national title, something that's eluded them 5 of the last 6 years they've been here. Now, I'm told by a few of the players that the bus ride over here was unusually quiet, but that's a good sign. And also, pregame rituals took the same form. Mike Krzyzewski kissing his wife and daughters, after which he proclaimed, "I'm certain my team is ready."
I think we are focused on Kansas, and we've tried, we've been in a lot of tough situations all year long where you win a big game or you lose a big game, and then you have to play another big game, and I think that's helped us. We've made some mistakes in the past, and we've talked about that, and if we don't come out on top tonight, it won't be because we're not focused. I think my team is going to play very, very hard.
You look ready, too?
Yeah, I feel a lot better than I did last year. Thanks.
Well, that's remarkable because Mike's wife, that is, told me that he didn't get any sleep on Saturday night and only a couple of hours last night. Oh, and bumps and bruises around this time of the year, nothing unusual. Bobby Hurley, a bruised left thigh. Thomas Hill, a bad back. They said, hey, we have all off-season for those injuries to heal. Let's go back upstairs to Pat O'Brien.
I'll tell you something, that family looked a little nervous back there. Mike looked okay. You talk about Krzyzewski, this is his 5th Final Four, and he's lost the previous 4 times. But what about Duke's trainer, Max Crowder? 60 years old, there he is. He's been taping ankles and cracking necks at 9 Final Fours for Duke, and not once has he gone home with anything but memories, and he can still smile. Max has been down there with his tape and his ointments and all his tricks, and tonight, when he goes home, you know what he wants, folks? He wants the trophy. So Kansas, of course, would want it as well, and when we come back, we'll show you how the Jayhawks spent their last 40 hours preparing to take this one home. This is the prelude to a championship, and we'll be back from Indy in a moment. Stay with us. Over Pittsburgh, then Indiana, still with us. Then Arkansas. Mike was still on that train. North Carolina. At any rate, from the buzzer on Saturday to their preparation today, Leslie Visser has kind of gone to school on Kansas and now brings us 48 hours with the Jayhawks.
The game is over. See you here on Monday. Kansas 79, Carolina 73. What do you think? Well, the Cinderella Jayhawks, they're going to the biggest party of all. They won't turn into a pumpkin this midnight as they are going to play in the championship game.
We played a good game. We played for 40 minutes, and that's what a championship team have to do.
It was back to work on Sunday morning for the Jayhawks. The first responsibility, a media conference. Coach Williams and his 5 starters facing more than 300 reporters.
I'm getting better than that.
The only thing better might be a little one-on-one. In this case, it's each player in a room with the media.
There was a time early in the season.
Shortly thereafter, the 2 coaches met with members of the electronic media, then had a chance for some private words of their own.
How well you do having Randall on your team.
The players had a chance to share thoughts with friends back home.
We had a great time last night on the celebration. How was it back in Lawrence? Really? There 25,000 people there?
NCAA rules mandate that the practices be closed, so we didn't have a peek there. But it was back on the bus for the players and a 25-minute ride to the hotel, where handfuls of autograph seekers waited for the stars.
Can you take the guys up there and get the rest of their signatures?
CBS coming in and doing 24 hours. 48 hours. 48 hours. The show? This is freshman Richard Scott. He's our main man in the paint coming off the bench. They got sensational freshman Steve Woodbury. Here's the All-American forward, Mark Randall.
Yes.
You got tape coach? That's the big guy. Get out of my room, Mark Randall! Tape coach. You big grandpa?
Don't mess up now. Don't get nervous. Because you're in front of the camera.
I got it. Oh, yeah. Love that head. Working.
As we continue 48 hours with the Kansas Jayhawks, the spotlight will be here. It's called the Big Dance. You've heard it a million times, but this is the ballroom floor. Kansas is a team that was unnoticed and unappreciated through much of the season, but they beat number 2 Arkansas, number 3 Indiana, and number 4 Carolina. What could they be thinking now?
We want to go out, have a great time, have fun, play the best we can, and kill the Blue Devils.
And finally, championship morning, dawning clear and optimistic. One more bus ride to one more closed practice, the all-important pregame meal, and finally the locker room, where 48 hours will become the most important 40 minutes.
I have to get those guys some T-shirts. A lot of skin in that piece there. We'd like to thank them, though, for spending the time with us, and we appreciate it. It was a fun insight on that. When we come back here, the Wizard and the Shark, John Wooden and Jerry Tarkanian, as a prelude to a championship, rolls on from Indianapolis after a commercial. Stay with us. National championships. He coached some of the greatest teams ever and some of the greatest players ever. He was the Wizard, all right, and it's going to be a long time, if at all, before he's matched. And it's our pleasure to have the Wizard of Westwood, John Wooden, joining us live here. And reminiscent of his coaching days, he's still rolling a newspaper and a program up in his hand here. Coach, welcome. And I know it's great for you to be back home in your home state of Indianapolis, or Indiana. Were you as surprised as everybody else about the two teams that are on the floor tonight?
Yes, I was. I thought the other two would be playing for the championship, but they were fine games, and either team could have won in each case.
Coach, you always stressed balance, never having a team get too high, too low. That was always a credo at UCLA. Does that concern you from the Duke perspective after that game against UNLV, such an emotional game?
Well, it's a thing that the coach is going to have to cope with. It is a problem, but I think the fact that they've been here so much in recent years that will sort of take care of that situation for them.
Coach, I know you've had a busy week here. I've seen you up and down the streets and traveling around. What have your been emotions coming back, A, to a Final Four, first one since '84 for you, and being around all your friends and family?
Well, it was a little difficult. I attended 36 Final Fours with my late wife, and I haven't attended one since I lost her. But it is emotional. But back here home in Indiana and seeing so many old friends, it's been tremendous.
Coach, everybody that's seen you has been so happy to see you. You brought a lot of class to this tournament. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Pat.
Coach John Wooden. UNLV tried to become the first team since Coach Wooden's 72 and 73 teams to repeat, but they fell one game short of playing for the championship, and Jerry Tarkanian has stuck around for tonight and been nice enough to join us live. Let's go down to James Brown. JB?
All right, Pat, indeed, Jerry Tarkanian on the floor, but we didn't expect you to see here in this capacity. Jerry, it's been 2 days now since the loss. Is it just as difficult or any easier to deal with the loss on Saturday?
No, it's not easy at all. It's going to get harder, too, because this was such a special group of kids. They lost one game all year. Last year we lost 5 and won a national championship. Duke's lost 7 and Kansas lost 7, and they're playing for the national championship. So it's going to be real hard on us all year, but really that's what college athletics is about. You know, you get your chance, and if you're not successful, then you got to live with that and hopefully come back and be stronger in the future.
Jerry, now, you've been asked this question so many times. We hear you may be over in Italy coaching the team for $1 million a year, maybe at the NBA level. Clear it up now. What are you going to be doing next year?
No, I really intend to come back to UNLV and coach, unless I take a job in Armenia. I don't know. I may start an Armenia national team.
34-1, nothing to sneeze at. Congratulations on a great season.
No, this was a great team, Jim, and I'm very proud of them.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Pat O'Brien.
And proud he is, Mike. It won't be long now. Tip is at 9:10. We'll have some final thoughts when we come back. It's Kansas and Duke. Stay with us. I don't think they know that we're showing them there. Otherwise, they would be screaming and yelling, Mike Francesa, pick us. Mike Francesa, pick us. And so I know you've been struggling with this pick. Who's your pick for tonight?
Pat, I think Duke has the better overall talent, but I sense something special in the Kansas team. They know how to play tough, physical ball. They are on a roll right now. They're a good team that knows how to play great. I think they have one more upset in them.
Well, you're going to stick with Kansas.
Stick with
Kansas. On that train. We're in the Kansas section here. They'll love you here, okay? So coming up, it is the championship game, Duke and Kansas. Mike and I will see you at the half. You bet. We want you to watch this game and enjoy it here on CBS.